Yes.
So the first song you played was "Dust of Democracy." That is probably my favorite song.
Is very much like is like kind of that as well. It's but at the same time, it's
Speaking of things not going our way, I know that sound.
time it's also kind of like molded to be in something that the listener is like, ooh, what are they talking about? Ooh, maybe I think it's this. But the altar and the knife line, there is like a completely esoteric like story reason for it in order to like summon the thing that's talking to the narrator in the song. But in a more realistic sense, the altar and the knife line is kind of I'm the one like, or you and I are both parts of like creating magic. So like me being the knife and them being the altar, it's like, oh, we're putting something in between us that creates like a sense of magic, and that's like the realistic lens on it.
Okay.
I mean, you can. It's written in a very dark manner, but it actually kind of has some lighter connotations.
It's a love song.
Yeah. Sacrifice.
I've got a couple of those in there.
And on that song in particular, because talking about some of the music in it, I was really impressed, Dylan, with you locking in the bass, like almost the whole song, especially like around the 2:30 mark when it does that shift. Like you really just lock into that. And I'm like, man, if somebody wants to learn how to play bass and wants to learn pocket bass, they should be listening to Deep Calling because Dylan is killing it right now.
I will second that. Dylan is like like drums are obviously the foundation. But Dylan is like the foundation of this band. Like he plays so well in the pocket, and it's just. I don't know how he does it.
It's effortless.
It's his 5 fingers. Did you see him? He was going like this on that top string, man. That's how he stays at the funk. He
goes, come here, I'm gonna tickle you.
He's got Cthulhu fingers over there.
He's got tentacle hands.
This song is called Deep Calling, and I'll say it now because I've said it every other time we played it. This is the first song we've ever wrote.
Elgin shrews carved into stone, dizzy cries and breaking bounds. Let the ocean taste your skin. Fathomless fears and dragon pull from within. You'll be ocean, but I'll be the night. And it's speaking of frozen. They don't let your life.
like an embarrassment of riches in this band when it comes to vocal talent, because not only does Austin like handle everything like lead wise on his own, but he's being supplemented by Greg, and like, you know, it's easy to like talk about like, you know, the screams and everything like that, but the thing that always impresses me the most about Greg's vocals is his ability to harmonize with Austin, who has, as we've said, he's got like this crazy range, right? So Greg, seeing him like work on that from the beginning to now, where it's like he fits right in there, you know, and like, and that's not easy like at all. So, you know, it's very impressive. And then Andy, you know, Andy's gonna like sell himself short, but like, bro, my man can sing. Like he can sing. He can sing. I'm telling you.
Night of the Solstice, man. All three of the vocal harmonies in there were great.
And
like you were covering the low end on that.
Yeah.
Right? On nights you were covering like the mid, and then you had the high.
That's something we've been like progressively adding to, because when we first wrote that song, we had an idea that like me and Greg were gonna kind of do something at the end, but as we've like perfected that song, and in a sense, we were like, oh, it would be cool if we added like a third vocal in there, because then you get that like, oh wow, what is happening at the end of this thing?
Yeah, no, it is. But like I said, I don't think I could like stress that enough. It's a straight up embarrassment of riches when it comes to like vocal talent.
Dude, like Van Halen had excellent vocal talent. Queen had
that is the
excellent
most
vocal
underrated thing specifically about. Everyone says like, man, Eddie. Like Roth is vocal, but like the thing is about that band, Eddie Van Halen, like one of my favorite guitar players, but no one ever talks about the vocal talent of that band. Like it's like a doo-wop band, but like harsh guitar.
Dude, and people love things like Eruption. I like Eruption.
Oh yeah, who doesn't love Eruption?
Everybody likes "Girl, You Really Got Me Now." You know, all those.
I'll slap the shit out of anybody.
But then you have a song like "Dance the Night Away," which has like doo-wop vocals.
Oh yeah,
on
like
there. Siri's trying to play it now. So, but that's like one of those songs that's like severely underrated. It's like just a great dance song to take to any like
There's
cover
so
band.
many Van Halen, like so many because it's radio's fault. It's like they're gonna play Ain't Talking About Love, You Really Got Me, Eruption. Those are the three they're always gonna play. But Van Halen has such a rich catalog of just stuff like that. Like Can't Wait to Feel Your Love Tonight, Dance the Night Away. You hear those vocals and they're so harmonious. Like I can't wait to feel, and then all the other vocals come in. It's like such layers that come in, and like that's like to me like just extremely good songwriting. Like there's all the technical ability in the world, but like just the craftsmanship of like writing a good song like that just blows me away. And same with Queen too. Like obviously enough can't be said about Queen.
Well, Freddie Mercury on the records mostly did all his own harmonies.
Yeah,
Then when you would see live, they have everybody else put them in there.
No, absolutely.
Summer is fading, we're dying on the vine, but autumn is creeping, slowly crawling from behind. The leaves they fall and already covered. Just won't last. The snow it comes and the wind it smothers rotting leaves. So why don't you come see what I've got here done up and down these streets. She weeps to find her lying prostrate in the street. Her eyes are closed, but she never sleeps. You round the bed, listen close, she said, with autumn pouring out. Her eyes bones breaking through and over red. Casting spells with meteorology and control this weather inside of me. Casting spells with meteorology until you'll find it out. Casting spells with meteorology can control this. You're inside of me. Casting spells with meteorology until you'll find it understand. Atop the peaks, it's old memories. Whispers from the old ones echoing the answers you seek. And this power flows from countless eyes that pierce the lies we tell ourselves, but secrets never know. Now these hearts so bold spell out the tune that follows avarice, this everything breeding. Oh, casting spells with the meteorology, can control this weather inside of me. Casting spells with meteorology until you find it under low. Casting spells with meteorology, can control this. You're inside of me. Casting spells with meteorology until you find it understand. I, Mr. White Christmas, I, Mr. Snow. I call their eyes to us. I sold this world to show. You call me King Kaiser. I got a man. Brought from their day. You're I, Mr. Christmas. I, Mr. Love. Jesus is well Christmas. I'm just a cat in town. Casting spells with meteorology. They control this weather inside of me. Casting spells with meteorology. Until you find it down below. Spells with meteorology. They control this. You're inside of me. Casting spells with meteorology. Until you find it understand.
Night, like that is that's a good
Groovy.
song. Everybody
That's
should listen
I'm
to that one.
I'm actually like low key pretty proud of that song.
I am too. I was just about to
because
say that.
So we were talking earlier how we love like storytelling in songs, and it is a well known fact, and with a lot of like songwriters, that it is hard to write songs that tell stories because it's very easy to not tell enough or tell too much, and then the song goes long. And I always err on the side of like less is more, because I like allowing the listener to kind of use the theater of the mind to create what they think is happening. Like there's a lot of stuff in the song that will tell you exactly what's going on, but it's very easy to be like, that means that this to me, and what I wrote for it is something completely different.
Well, I got the impression of like mind flayers taking over people's minds and like putting in the cold. I don't know if that's what you were going for there. Like
that
maybe you can tell
song
me.
is almost it's almost explicitly on my end about like a vampire-esque creature, because if you listen in like the first verse, he talks about like hidden from the mirror that's hanging over your bed, like you can't get the reflection, or in the chorus when it's like, please let me inside, like you have to give them permission to come in,
Or just that last 30 seconds a minute, children of the night.
yeah. So it doesn't have to explicitly be any particular type of creature, but that's kind of what I was getting
Yeah,
at.
I mean,
like,
a mind flayer is like vampire.
right, like,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's whatever you want it to be,
Mhm.
because a lot of the things about the stuff that I write and the things that I like to write about is you're afraid of the thing that you don't know. So like you put mind flayer into that because you're like, oh man, this is what I think would be scary in this moment, and what Greg thinks or what anyone thinks would be like something completely different.
Greg's
Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
No, Kevin McAllister.
Oh no, he is scary.
Yeah.
He'll electrocute you.
Yeah, he'll throw glass on the floor and
Aftershave, man.
everything.
You got aftershave.
He'll shock you to death.
Flamethrowers.
Yeah.
Shocking.
He'll get lost in New York, that
Right,
rascal.
Yeah.
Thank you. I hope you guys liked that one. Yeah, really took that one out back and showed it a rubber hose. Whoops. What, your parents never hit you with a rubber hose? Me neither.
It's one of those extendable ones that looks
Oh, yeah.
significantly longer than this, so you can't run.
And when you spin it around, it does the whistle.
Yeah.
So, Andrew, do you know what the next song is?
Yes, I do.
Tell me what it is.
Sunder the Night.
You are so correct.
Part 1, The Beast from War.
The Beast from Wator.
Yeah.
This song's a scary one, so you might want to put the kids to bed before this one. They'll have bad dreams.
Shadows slowly creep across the valley tonight. Still, the Acropolis in orbits after gaining its light. The cedar castle slowly rising out of the cave. The villagers, they scream in terror of mistake. Soaring from the belfry, it descends on the town. It looks stopping for the bullets, wings, they don't make a sound. Moving from the river in the area path. Dropping on the river, so let me in. Oh, let me inside. I will abide. So come, I'll show you my devotion. You've even brought me to my knees. So be assured your emotion. So won't you come and drink with me? In my blade I always rise with the sun deep exposing as a god, so I'm devoted to one. I just want to be the truth for the world. Rocky say that's just because of it's his will. Soaring from the corner, simply slide through the floor. Hear you screaming through the hallway as I open the door. There is much is screaming like I'm talking about. Talent stretching my tongue, so now you're next. Oh, I'll tear you apart. Yeah, from them. So come on, show you retribution. I'll even bring you to your knees. You'll never find your absolution. Your ashes scattered to the sea. Now sleep, this dream. Children of the night, show me what was right. Children of the
So doing what I can. Your inspirations for the bass lines.
If it reminded me of anything, maybe like a little bit of Rancid or something.
Okay, yeah.
What were you thinking?
That's what I was thinking. Was
yeah,
Rancid.
yeah, like the
Yeah, I was
main
thinking
bass
Rancid.
line.
I heard
like it's-
Descendants.
Oh yeah, yeah, them too.
I really
Them
do.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, not. I don't think he was trying to copy it.
Yeah.
No, no, dude.
Yeah,
I do.
Everything's derivative.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
I
Yeah, I
know.
liked it a lot. Yeah.
So, yeah, dude. I was like, you played that at the kennel, and when you were playing, I was like, dude, that is just such good bass. Like to hear it live and like to feel every piece of that was just so awesome, man.
Thank
I
you.
was really, really into that.
Thanks.
I've never been so down, I'm feeling fast out of the crowd. You talk about it with nothing really to say. I've never been so down, I'm feeling fast out of the crowd. You talk about it with nothing really to say. My head's really red, you're in giveaways, and I'm trying my best to understand what it takes to be a better man. Well, fuck it, I'm just doing what I can. I've never been so down, I'm feeling fast out of the crowd. You talk about with nothing really to say. I've never been so down, I'm feeling fast out of the crowd. you talking that with nothing really to say. My head's spinning with your indifference, and I'm trying my best to understand what it takes to be a better man. Oh well, fuck it. I'm just doing what I can. I'm just doing what I can. Everybody uses me as a toy. We to profit and exploit. Never thought I'd be so weak. Well, don't look to me for your thrill, 'cause I'll never surrender now. Everybody's got a hidden motive. Every question you seem so loaded. Everybody's got a hidden motive. Every question you seem so loaded now. Everybody uses me as a toy. With a puppy and destroy. Never thought I'd be so weak. Well, don't look to me for your thrill, 'cause I'll never surrender now. Everybody's got a hidden motive. Every question you see so loaded. Everybody's got a hidden motive. Every question you see so loaded now. Everybody's got a hidden motive. Every question you see so loaded. Everybody's got a hidden motive. Every question you see so loaded. I was 28 and overweight. Really thought it was too late. Simple songs on guitar. Not expect to get real far. Got a house and got a job, but at heart I'm still a slob. Now that school is done and over, maybe it's time that I got sober. 'Cause we all want to change, and at the same time stay the same. We all believed in the promise of our life that's free and clear. Go to college, get a job, and it all works out from there. But these days I'm not exactly sure what I am doing. But tonight, I'm just living. Think I'd change the universe. Oh, I don't care and things just get worse. 'Cause that's my thinking political parties. Try all that wanna be. believe in the promise of a life that's free and clean. Go to college, get a job, and it all works out from there. But these days I'm not exactly sure what I am doing. But tonight I'm just living. Tonight I'm just living. I'm sunny and overweight. Really thought it was true. Thank you guys for pulling it ever. Appreciate it.
Best part is I'm gonna have to team.
What?
All right, Jesse, you're live, man.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Jesse from Effigy Entertainment. Welcome to the Tempo. It's my pleasure to introduce to you now the Stone Eye.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, boo thing.
This is for Dave.
Yeah, this song that we're about to play. Oh, I think you need to turn my amp on too.
Can we? Oh, we'll see. Hi, Dave. How are you doing? I'm gonna talk to Dave exclusively, but he can't hear me.
Dave, my boo thing. Takes me back to the good old days in West Virginia.
Say that again?
West Virginia.
That's what I thought. Okay. How are you doing, Void? It's nice talking to you.
Yeah, we're the Stone Eye. This song is called Who's There? Oh, there's Dave. It says my man. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. I miss you too, Dave. All right, this song's called Who's There? It's about the Stone Eye.
Questions of faith.
Can you turn my mic up a tad and turn his down a tad? Just a tad.
Just a tad. Just a tad.
Chihuahua. Well, yeah, this mine's like a little quiet, and then it sounded like his was a little louder than mine. Gotcha. This next song is gonna be T.G.R. TGR. This is an epic, epic, I don't know why I said epic, upcoming song. I guess it's also epic.
It's both things.
Check!
Check.
Check. All right, the song's called TGR. It's by the Stone Eye.
Singing these dead and bad, they shall real bad.
Stoner.
Stoner.
Hoo-ah.
I see you, Jesse. Saying things and such.
I see you with my own two eyes. Looking all cute over there in the corner. The song's called Halfway House. It's by the Stone Eye. You're feeling down, holds peace now. Hands made of glass, I need not mad. We're flashes of light, this ain't reality. I've seen all I can, I need nothing. Realizing the garden stands for their reminder. playing fucking roulette with my feet down here, man.
Is that roulette? Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's some kind of game, and I don't like it.
It's some kind of game, and to be frank, I'm not a fan.
I'm not a fan of this game. Whatever game you are, I don't like it.
Whatever game you're playing in this thing we call life, you know, I don't really like it, and I prefer if you cut it out.
That's a little real and sad, and let's not talk about that.
So yeah, we're the Stone Eye of Philadelphia. We got a new single called Denora. You can pre-order it too. The full album is called Fata Morgana. You can pre-order that shit on Bandcamp. And yeah, this next song is an oldie. Well, it's from our last record, so it's not really old, but it's called Witches and Raptures. And it goes something like this. Hey! 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 You're a creature of reality. You're a teacher of anatomy. You'll assist when the mind's afraid. It's all a line between your lovers and me. Hibernation, not a contradiction. Falling over without a road's mission. Welcome image, what a night it could have been. If I didn't leave before you curl up and scream. Without our legs, and every wind brings us up to the end. Someone double with the blink of my eye. If I believe before you curl up and scream. Set free. Takes now, but you'll believe it is thing. So pass to a kingdom beneath. If I believe before you curl up and scream. Nailed the solo.
Really? What about that last note, brother?
Well, that's a creative decision.
All right, I gotta change the tuning.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. We really appreciate it. We hope you're enjoying the new music. And this next song, you're welcome, Dave.
What did Dave say?
He said yes with 8 exclamation points.
What the hell did Dave just say?
Dave, you sound like my mother.
What?
I need to take a quick gargle of water. It's early to be singing. Usually I got booze flowing through me, so when I sing, so it's like, well, any hour of the day, but so I'm just like, ah! But right now it's all dry from coffee.
That's just too much information. That's a lot of information, brother.
Does it sound good on the stream, Matt? Hell yeah. If Dave was here, he would have taken his shirt off. That's what he said.
Did you confuse finger and shirt?
Yes. All of the fingers on the bass. I was reading that. Well, also,
My goodness.
The song is the new single. It's called Denora, and it goes something like this. Enough to take into never knew. Always on the mark, colors blacked out. Resting eyes, careless roads, the swans that soar, caught in hand. What's that song I hear? Repeating inside my ears. Oh. These thoughts of mine I've always had, they seem alright. At least I tried. Broken heart, shattered legs, a tongue should be sung and harmed by me. What's that song I hear? Repeating inside my ear.
Holy guacamole, brother.
That's a lot for a three-piece.
Yes. Holy goodness.
Holy Mother of Mary and Joseph.
Are you there, Dave? I need to know you're still there, Dave.
I'm sorry, Dave. I can't let you in. I can't let you in, Dave. Thanks, Dave. He's still here. Hell yes.
My programmer taught me a song. Do you want to hear it? Never mind. That was.
You know, actually, the track, like the hidden track after Kevlar.
Oh, it's Daisy.
It's Daisy.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. So funny enough, Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer too. I'm half crazy, all for the love of you, and I might need a stylish carriage. In fact,
Do you know all the words?
Not really.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
that wasn't
It's
bad.
a good song. It's the first ever computer-generated tune.
It's an American classic, brother.
Jared, what do you have to say on this topic? He has absolutely goddamn nothing to say on this topic.
All right, Steve, what song do we have next for the folks?
This next song is called Poison Apple, and it's an oldie, but it's a goldie. And Dave, we actually are playing more of our discography, and we're playing fucking Poison Apple. That's a deep cut. Goes something like this. See, that was a callback to our older days, Dave. Both of those songs. That's off like our first record.
Are you not entertained, Dave Trick?
Well, he was requesting Farewell Lady. I don't remember how to play that.
Really?
I got tuned up. So when I assembled the set list, I didn't really know why I put Palace last. Because if you think about it, it makes absolutely no sense to tune up and tune right back down, but...
You silly person.
I messed up.
You naughty person. That's from Monty Python, but no one knows that.
Wait, Dave, you like this? You ready for this one, Dave? That's not Paradigm.
That was silly.
That was silly. So this next song is called Cut Him Loose. It's off of Kevlar Kryptonite Gloria. Oh, what do you have next? Oh, that last song was Paradigm. It was Poison Apple, then we went straight into Paradigm. Yeah. Thanks, Dave. You know, so fun fact about Kevlar, Jeremiah can't listen to that album. Yeah, he's very self-conscious. He thinks his drumming is terrible. Yeah, he hates that album. We disagree. We think it's pretty good, but he hates it. Yeah, purely for selfish. What surprised you there?
Yeah, before I was officially part of the band,
Yes way, bro.
I heard that album and I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. But then the drummer has a different reaction.
This song, I like my drumming on this song. You're your own worst critic, right?
I guess so. We can, yes.
Thank you, Jesse. It's not like you're sitting literally right there, but... This song is called Cut 'Em Loose.
Make a decision.
A shallow hole to wash it out, a cleaner way
to say farewell. Feel his love gone.
What in the same hell was that?
When you upload it to YouTube later, just cut that part out. That's our one fuck up take. I was just thinking about having to sing a different harmony, so I got it confused in my head.
God damn it.
We're allowed one fuck up. All right, let's do it again. Crystal palace on an unknown plane, the holy maze of disarray, a shallow hole to wash it out, a cleaner way to say farewell. Feel his love, good and blue, unconcealed, shall find it die. Sinking feeling and a soulless dance. What's to say when you're insane? A beating drum and a heavy heart roll away from this unknown grave. Feel his love, good and blue, unconcealed, shall find his eye. Tasteless boy, broken toy, no and I shall find it die. Fill him up, fill him up, fill him up. Fill his love, good and blue, unconcealed, shall find his eye. Tasteless boy, broken toy, no and I shall find it die.
Thank you.
That's a lot of belting.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry about that fuck up. Yeah, we got one more song left. It's another one from that album. It's called Palace for an Unborn King. I think Dave likes this song. Dude, this song's another like roulette, a game of roulette on the fucking pedal board. So
I feel like you're using the wrong word.
I don't even know.
Doesn't quite make sense.
So yeah, we're the Stone Eye. Thanks a lot. Check out the new song. I hope you enjoy all these tunes. Yeah, this last song goes something like this. to us is a God for me. You don't know what you don't see. A mighty palace for an unborn king. See you run there, cross my feet. Let them in and let them be. A moment on, let you to be. A busted image on a burnout screen. You don't know what you don't see. A mighty palace for an unborn king. Chew your meat and stitch your dreams. A quiet hammock on a crowded tree. Oh. Thank you so much. We're doing a chat after this.
Yeah, I did put it on the chat, so if you didn't see it down at the bottom, we will be taking a short intermission, and then we will be back with these guys to do some conversation about all this, about the rock. Yeah. Yes, we will be popping on some clips. We will be popping some clips on from previous acts and such to fill time, and then we'll be coming back to this.
Yes.
So, Depression Quest, we kind of already talked about your gold award that you gave yourself. Seriously, you deserve a gold award for that song. I love it. I love that song. That's probably my favorite one that you guys play. And part of it is because I love the energy and like the upbeat, feeling of the song. But then when you listen to the lyrics, it's about a serious subject.
Sure.
It reminds me a little bit of like being the punk version of like a Motown song. Like you remember Motown? So you played a song called Dave Matthews Dad.
Yes.
What is a Dave Matthews Dad? From the song I couldn't figure out exactly what it was.
Dad? I mean, as you know, again, there's not hard and fast terms to it or hard and fast definitions to it, but yeah, that's mainly about how I.
So you played a song called Dave Matthews Dad.
Yeah.
What is a Dave Matthews Dad? From the song I couldn't figure out exactly what it was.
I mean, as you know, again, there's not hard and fast terms to it or hard and fast definitions to it, but yeah, it's mainly about how I can't interact with other parents sometimes, like that I have to interact with through, you know, just having kids, right? And you know, see other parents, and there's like, you know, dudes into Dave Matthews, and just like, you know, want to talk about sports and TV shows I don't watch. I usually find. So yeah, it's a broad term about how I can't relate to certain people, but
so it's like the plastics of the dads.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's not. Again, it's more about myself than about other people, right? I don't want to be like projecting.
But
and
I
like
relate to this.
Yeah,
I do really.
From the school
Same here.
days, going to the concerts, and like, I really don't want to meet these people.
Well, it's like when a lot of times I don't want people to know I'm a musician because then they'll be like,
Yeah.
I love Dave Matthews, and I'm like, I don't. Like,
Another kid's birthday party. Oh man, this crowd is not for me. Focus on the kids and hope I don't pick up the terrible opinions that they be saying up. Their glasses crash into me. Good God, I really want to leave. I know it's just a bit here and it's my own fault. I'm in a social prison and I guess I got caught. These Dave Matthews dads are making me sad. Can't relate to them at all, it makes me feel bad. So I try to act like a normal guy. Never feel college shot, still feel sad. Talking with these Dave Matthews dads. Another PTO event. Did the right thing and so I went. Wouldn't be so bad if I wasn't such a dick. It's too late now, I'm giving up on it. Sports talking, what's on your TV? More into elfin fantasy. Never really felt like I ever fit in. Smile away the evening with a stupid grin. Dave Matthews dads are making me sad. Can't relate to them at all, it makes me feel bad. So I try to act like a normal guy. Give it the college shot, still feel sad. Jumping with these Dave Matthews dads. I can't relate to them at all. So why even try? Dave Matthews dads are making me sad. Can't relate to them at all, it makes me feel bad. So I try to act like a normal guy. Get it down inside, I still feel sad. Talking with these Dave Matthews dads are making me sad. Can't relate to them at all, it makes me feel bad. I can't act like a normal guy. I don't know why I even try. I still feel sad. Talking with these Dave Matthews dads.
Yes.
So the first song you played was "Dust of Democracy." That is probably my favorite song from you guys. I just love that. I think we had it on our radio program for like 3 weeks straight. Because I like that when it was always up in the top like 6 songs that I was playing.
I think that's the first song Curtain Call chose to release under
when we re-released the Anarchy on Curtain Call, they
That was
chose
the first
that.
one they did,
Yeah,
yeah.
they chose that as a single.
That was one of the first songs you wrote. One of them. Was watching Wendy. That song. The original lyrics were very bad.
Oh my god. Succulent.
My daddy was a kingpin.
Daddy was a kingpin.
Succulent.
Succulent. Succulent.
Oh, I'm so glad I wasn't part of this band.
Nobody here wrote the original. Like, okay, so Paul C. was not the original drummer, and I'm not gonna go. Like, if you were on the Unholy Dead, I posted our very first promo picture, and I blacked him out, the first drummer. I don't.
You know
wanna-
who you were.
Yeah, was that the
You
McDonald's?
know.
Yeah, if you're watching,
You know who you were. Hit us up.
No,
Call me.
hit us up. Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
But he's like, I wrote the main riff to it. He's like, "Can I try my hand at writing some lyrics?" And Al,
like an orphaned child, this grown man walks up to me in his reading glasses halfway down his nose with a scrap of paper, the frills of the ends of his notebook paper still hanging on. He didn't even like peel them off all nice and neat. Shaking, hands it to me. If you don't like them, I won't be mad, but I would be honored if you would go off of them. At the end of practice, he ends up calling me a little kid and yells at me.
so as soon as he was gone, like I think the next practice we're like we're rewriting these fucking lyrics,
so
and then
much.
and then Al did what became Dust. The
Yes.
Yeah, and I really like the music, the idea of the song, the lyrics and everything in there. I mean, what was your inspiration, Al, for some of the?
So it's just world news. There was a lot of is currently, but at that time I was just watching a lot of news and just getting really frustrated at the way America's kind of operating, and I won't get super like political either one way or the other. I just think there's a lot of problems that we have in our government, and there's a lot of things that we need to fix, a lot of things we need to tweak, and a lot of things we need to revise. So in my philosophy, dusting the democracy is completely clean slating it, starting over from the beginning. I mean, America's a young country. If you think about it, we're a little over 200 years old. The UK and Great Britain has been around for 1,000 years, and they've probably remodeled and revised quite a bit since the colonial times. We have not done that much. Now, technology in the world has exponentially gone faster in how much we progress over the time. But yeah, I just think it's time for some change. Maybe a changing of the guard. Maybe the fact that somebody who's also collecting Social Security is not have to have their chair for 30 years.
Someone younger, maybe?
Somebody who remembered a separate term limit water fountain.
Someone who didn't grow up
should
without a
be-
telephone in their house?
Somebody who literally gets confused, bothered, and scared when they see a colored man and a white woman together should not be making executive decisions on how this country is operated. I got my finger on the trigger and I'm ready to blow! Look into my eyes and tell me what you see. I see a vision in my eyes and my mind has to be. Feeling in my clothing, I just have to set free. I gotta live in the lies and I just got to believe. Rise up, everybody lock and load. The government is burning down the bodies all are piling up. Living a lie, living to die. Everybody up, let's rise and cry. Bring it all away from me, y'all. I want to
So the first song you played was "Dust the Democracy." That is probably my favorite song from you guys. I just love that. I think we had it on our radio program for like 3 weeks straight. Because I like that when it was always up in the top, like.
No, we're not.
All right, now we've got vocals. Now we've got lyrics.
Hey. I'm still looking at Joe. Not
Yeah,
sure if
there
that's
you
a
go.
good thing or-
There you
There
go.
we go.
Yeah, because that's the video
All
over
right.
there.
Okay, yeah.
And then here, if anybody wants to see what they look like, I'm gonna put
No,
one
I
up here
don't.
too.
Definitely don't.
We got monitors everywhere. This is how it goes. All right. All right. Well, we're here with
TV. I made it.
We're here with the.
Look, Dave, I'm on
well,
TV.
Hold on. Wait, what did I do?
I don't know.
I see what I did.
I'm just checking.
I'm sure Dave is still with us.
There we go.
I hope he is.
All right, everybody can see everyone. There's monitors everywhere.
Yeah.
All right. Anywhere you look, you can see what the screen is. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah, audio is good.
Audio's good. All right.
Audio's good.
If the audio is not good, chat, please tell us. I'm looking at the chat today. You can see the chat as it comes up, so please feel free to chat with us. Anybody can see it.
There's Dave.
Dave, you're famous. So
Where is Dave from?
West Virginia.
Oh,
this is not
West
previously
Virginia.
recorded.
West Virginia.
You already know I'm still
There
here.
we go.
All right.
Sweet.
All right, audio sounds good. That's important.
Yeah,
Well-
he's in the band Brimstone Coven.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Coven. He's like, no, I don't.
Dave corrected you, Ohio.
Ohio.
Well, he's like right on the border of like if you drive over the river, you're in West Virginia.
Is it like New Martinsville or?
Yeah.
We don't need to tell him where he's at. I know that area very well because I lived there.
Give
I
away
lived there
his hiding
before.
spot.
Hey, I think you were like dead on pretty much.
I don't know. It could be Marietta. It could be
Yeah.
Cincinnati. That's all on the border. Right? It's all on the Ohio.
Yeah,
side.
he's from Marietta, right?
When you really think about it.
So yeah, I'm actually from Marietta. I went to school there.
Oh, we played a show at Marietta.
Did you? Ohio or?
Yeah,
Okay.
Ohio.
Just because there's two. There's one down here down the road. Like.
No, we played in Marietta, Ohio.
Yeah, where'd you play at in Marietta, Ohio?
The Adelphia.
Adelphia?
Oh yeah. That's the Adelphia is like probably the only place to play. I used to do open mics there when I lived there all the time.
Yeah, you walked in and it's like 2 stories and there's like
Yeah,
a restaurant
yeah.
on the side.
Yeah, that's a good spot.
Yeah,
man.
that was really cool.
And then you
Yeah.
can end up in Lancaster because there's one of those right over there.
Well, that's the spot where the dude from Puddle of Mud had the breakdown. We talked about that when Defiant was on here.
About the lights in his eyes or
Yeah,
something?
the Adelphia, the Muddle of Pud.
The Muddle of Pud.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, that's
West Scantlin.
that's where he had the breakdown, and then like they
Which
stopped
breakdown?
touring.
Yeah.
The one that like ultimately caused them to like just not tour for a long time. Like, a big deal. Maybe I only remember that breakdown because it happened in Marietta, but.
I still think Muddle of Pud.
Muddle of Pud.
Muddle of Mud.
Tribute band.
Not,
Yeah.
I thought we decided
Muddle
it
of
was.
Pud.
That's pretty
I thought we
good.
said it was
I
going
like
to be a
that.
90s music parody band where they make like 90s
You know what,
music.
that would work too if they
2030s.
parodied the songs, so not quite the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
song.
yeah. It's like a Weird Al kind of style.
Yeah,
But
Weird
only
Al
like
against Muddle of
Nickelback,
Pud.
Puddle of
I
Mud,
like that.
like that rock, that like what hard rock era. What was some other ones that were in that? They say Hinder. Just, you just do parodies of those songs. that kind of rock genre that Puddle of Mud was in.
Yeah, yeah.
So, all right. Well, we're here with the Stone Eye. Let's let them go ahead and introduce themselves. Tell us what positions you guys are in.
I'm my name's Steven. I play guitar and I sing.
I'm Jeremiah and I play drums.
My name's Christian and I play bass and I sing.
Yeah. And then you guys have been together how long?
8 years.
8 years?
or so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long time to be together as a band. So, always in Philly, or were you? Did you start somewhere else?
Always in the Philly area.
In the Philly area.
Yeah, it's been our home base forever.
Yes, Steve and I met in high school, and he asked me to join what was then called Cycle, actually, back in.
No, that was
2014.
2013.
Yeah, so
it's
we
been
were
9 years.
We were playing at Cycle for like 2 years, and then.
I'm in 2012.
I think you started the project
Like
with
2011.
another drummer,
Yeah,
but
Gray drummer.
and then I joined in about 2014. But after a year or two, we kind of got tired of the name, and we felt like we were moving into
So you're getting your
more
timeline.
progressive.
Because we were Stone Eye in 2014. So you must be.
Oh.
Yeah. Because our first song, Yet I Feel So Fine, came out in 2014.
Anyway.
Anyway, so where did the Stone Eye name come from? Where did that come from?
Wordplay.
Wordplay?
Yeah, it just sounds cool.
Okay, so it just sounded cool.
we wanted to have something with stone in it, and at the time he was thinking of doing the Stoned Eye, but I wanted to brag about my band to colleges, and I didn't want to have like that sort of
the connotation.
connotation going on like with my application. So I was like, let's do the Stone Eye instead. And Steve we kind of like fought back and forth, and Steve was like, "Oh, well, people aren't gonna think that," and I'm like, "Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yes, they are."
I would instantly picture
when they pull you over. It's like a little red there, man.
I picture your logo being an eyeball with nothing but red lines in it.
Well, he was genuinely trying to say, no, most people will think about an eye being stoned to death, and I'm like, you are literally just completely wrong.
Oh, that's
completely wrong. He was actually
You're a Bible band. That's a video that's about
It's a Christian rock band.
Yeah.
So you guys are a Christian rock band.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yes, we have a man named Christian in this.
Yeah. So you were a Christian rock band.
Oh, that's so cool. I didn't even know, like, it didn't sound like
we're not.
Okay. I was gonna say, like, you guys
we're not totally fucking with it.
Dude, great wordplay there.
Yeah.
If you're a Christian in your band, you're a Christian rock band.
Okay, you're talking about Bible play, like stoning the eye, and I'm like, okay, yeah, we're a Bible.
It
was all making sense, and then
I am so goddamn gullible. Ford the River and Defiant both got me with bullshit too, and I can't. I'm just so gullible. I take things at face value.
What was the go-karts?
We have a song
Ambient
called
go-karts.
Ambient go-karts. I still want to go drive them.
Well, on Ambien, I guess. That
Yeah.
was the thing. I don't know.
Go-kart
That's a
racing while
great name
taking
for a band
Ambien.
too. I hope you're taking notes out. Ambient go-kart.
That's like a good like indie band right there.
It is.
Ambient go-kart.
I'm just thinking of being high. I mean, taking a lot of Ambien and then driving go-karts, it just sounds like so much fun.
You're literally in Mario, basically. You're on the Laser Highway.
I'm sorry, what was the original question?
Yeah, I don't know. We were talking about the Stone Eye and how the name came from. So as far as genre and influences, when I first talked to you, Stephen, and I don't like putting bands' names in people's mouth because to me you just sound like the Stone Eye. But you had said Alice in Chains was a huge influence for you guys.
Yep.
So, like, tell me why you like Alice in Chains so much. That's a band I would have really liked at your age and younger.
Well, that's how I got into them. I don't know. I just heard Man in the Box and like Rooster and all that, and it was the first band I really connected with. And I was like, whoa, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really that simple. It just was like it was the first band that really. I mean, Jimi Hendrix and all that, like CCR. That's like my formative music years. But the first band I really was just like, oh my god, this is incredible. I need to listen to all the albums. I saw the first live show in like 2010 or whatever, 2009 maybe. It was Alice in Chains. My buddy took me to see him, and it was pretty awesome.
That's a solid foundation to like kind of
like
Alice in Chains.
Yeah, and I pretty much like learned guitar like playing along to like Dirt. I had like a Dirt tab book, and I would like play along to Dirt like in full and all that. And that's how I learned how to play guitar. And then I was just drawn to their sound. Like the song Junkhead is like an absolutely beautiful.
I can see the correlation there.
Well, yeah, because I mean that's kind of the foundation of how like I write songs. It's where you kind of have the gritty like like verse or whatever, and then it just opens up to like this like very majestic, floaty sounding thing with like harmonies and like pretty sounding.
I definitely see that.
Like Junkhead is like the song for me when I'm just like that's probably my main influence right there. Like just heavy and then suddenly beautiful and like back into this heavy Dirt. Not saying we like do that like exactly, but like. It's in the back of my head usually,
See, like I was just throwing that's something that makes to me you guys like your music really, really like interesting is because you do that. There's such a like sweeping element of like transition and harmony, like you said. You guys paint an awesome musical portrait with the sound and the music you do.
Yeah, I mean a lot of it too. It comes down to their contributions to the project. Like anything you start off writing songs and they're kind of shit, and then like over time you get better, and then like other people like have their spices. Like he's Mr. like harmonies, and then he's Mr. like blunt. That sounds like shit. So but that's a good thing. Like if I bring a riff, he'll be like, no, this sounds exactly rhythmically the same as that song. And I'll be like, well, what do you mean? And then he'll be like, trust me. And then like a week later, I'll be like, okay, yeah, you're right.
Stop bullying Jerry.
No, I'm giving him props right now.
I don't know.
Like, he's like very, like, Well, and then I think when Christian joined the band, we started to sort of become like a bit more progressive with our sound, like started experimenting with different
harmonies, different chords, time signatures, and like lots of polyrhythms. Like I personally, I'm a huge fan of prog music, and played jazz in college. I played some Latin band stuff in college too. So I try to like take some of those influences and kind of like mesh it with like them too. Because sorry.
You could tell that from your drums, dude. Like your drums are everywhere. When I hear those drums, like there's definitely prog influence. The jazz, like you hitting that ride. Like I was watching you hitting that ride in the middle of it. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so good. Like sorry, I'm just you are an amazing drummer, dude. Don't ever think that you're not, like ever.
Yeah, I mean, I always I try to play the part. At first, like when I was younger, I found myself sort of overplaying parts a lot, and he can attest to that. But over time, as I've played with, as I've matured and stuff, I've been able to sort of play the part, but also make it interesting as well. Like, I suppose. And and orchestration is really important for me, and the way I like orchestrate around the kit using dynamics and things like that. I think that's one of the aspects that makes, I guess, my drumming and then therefore our music unique in that sense.
I'm glad you got like that overhead camera for the drummer, because like his drumming is impressive, and getting like a chance to like see what he's doing from like almost really directly his perspective. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, and it's one of those things where it's like, we've all matured as musicians, so the music obviously reflects that, and I've learned things from Jerry, and Jerry's learned things from me. Like, like if I'd ever play with Jerry, I probably wouldn't be writing like all these like weird time signatures just by like, because I don't know music theory and all that. So like a lot of times I'll like write something.
This sounds cool.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be like 7, like 16 or whatever. But the only reason like I got to that point was from playing with Jerry, and then having we just screw around at practice, and he'd be like doing like these random ass beats, and I'd be trying to follow him. I'm like, oh, now I can play in 5/4, and then it's like
I keep waiting for him to just break into Whiplash in the middle of the song. That's I'm hearing this, and I'm like, oh man.
I actually did have to learn that like the main song Caravan, the famous drum solo.
Yeah.
I had to learn that for one of my my jazz like classes.
I believe it.
For my music minor, and it was very difficult. Evidently, I didn't learn it exactly, but I tried my best.
Yeah, well, I mean, drums, like the prog influence is definitely there. Like I feel like it's prog Alice in Chains, and it's just it's so good.
And there's kind of a development in this where because I was kind of a fan of them before I joined, and where like it was kind of this stoner rock thing, but then with Jerry and also like as the albums went on, Steve was writing like some pretty complicated riffs that like just naturally went into odd time signatures, and then the Alice in Chains harmonies added on to that. Like it just kind of started to get not denser but like more orchestrated, and then like when I joined, it was kind of like we all were going in this direction of like where the material was becoming more not like mathematical, but it was like a progressive element was like becoming very like foundational almost, or like becoming very important to the music. And so and then you can definitely hear that on the new album like a lot, like that progression. So.
Yeah, the newest record, it's coming out, what is it, April 28th?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think, our most cohesive and by far most progressive record that we've ever released. There's some songs on there that are just like absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I know, dude. And we're gonna talk about that here right before we get into the songs. But I had the extreme pleasure of being able to listen to that whole album, dude. It is so freaking good.
Thank you.
I was disappointed that you didn't play more of the songs off of there, but no.
Well, the thing too is you can't share all the songs, in public forum, because then you like lose the hype factor. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we'll have to have you back on when that album releases, man, because I want to hear I want you to play those songs, dude.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
And I won't spoil it, but oh my god, dude, I was really impressed. But speaking of albums, I mean, you guys have so many albums on Spotify. Like when I went through to like check you guys out when we first decided to have you on the program, I had no idea what to listen to because there was so many albums. I think you have like. How many albums do you have up on there?
7 or 8, something like that. I don't even remember myself.
I think it's 7.
7?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
But then there's like all this extra stuff there too, like live stuff and then like demos, and I think that kind
Yeah,
of like
demo tape,
that takes
yeah.
up like a lot of it too.
Yeah, because I counted like 9, but I think some of them were like you did like the quarantine sessions.
Yeah, like that.
Which
That's
were all
just-
repeats of previous songs.
Yeah.
So what was what's the story with the 2 volumes of that? Why was it the quarantine sessions? What did?
We recorded it during Corona. That's why our tour. So we released the record Ventura, then we went on tour, and then literally day 2 of the tour, everything was shut down. So we drove home, and we're all defeated, and we're like, might as well do something like cool. You know what I mean? And we were just like, I don't know, maybe like do this, like get some visual media up, because that coincided with weekly video releases of us playing the album. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it was all recorded live and videoed, and then I released all the audio tracks, mixed them a bit, and released them onto Spotify and all the DSPs.
Yeah, because they, like you said, they were a bunch of repeats of the previous albums. But I mean,
Yeah, it's
they
all
sound
it's all
they
live
sound
stuff.
different, and they sound like you had some acoustic versions of songs in there too.
Yeah, that was another thing, just to get more content out there, and it'd be a fun experiment. Just to meet up and do like acoustic renditions of songs that aren't acoustic. Kind of just like an unplugged thing, because I think we're all big fans of MTV, like Unplugged, and
Yeah, it kind of like it's almost the just here, like except not unplugged element, but yeah.
Yeah.
What we set this up to be going for is like
Kind of an MTV interview. 120 minutes was like my big thing. I'm a little bit older than you guys, like a couple of years. And I mean, I loved Matt Pinfield on 120 Minutes. I just love that format where they do music videos and they have interviews. With
Yeah,
bands.
that's go on YouTube. You watch any like old video, or like not old, but like any like artist from the '90s that was like somewhat popular, and they usually have like a 120 minutes thing going
Yeah, and
on.
honestly, I know this is going to sound terrible to you guys who are bigger Alice in Chains fans than I am, but my favorite Alice in Chains album was the Unplugged album. But
It's a great album.
very
It's still a great album. I mean,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. I mean,
I say the same thing about the Nirvana Unplugged album too. Like my favorite Nirvana album is Unplugged, and I get so much shit for that sometimes.
I mean, the only way I'd see given so much shit is it's not so much an album per se as it is like a performance. It's like a
Right,
live
right.
album. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't consider like that like a cohesive I would consider it a cohesive work of art, but it's like it's just different. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's a live performance versus
yeah,
an
like
album.
multiple albums where it's like an album's kind of like sometimes like especially if it's like a story like Dark Side of the Moon, it tells a story, or you know what I mean, like. And
Yeah.
like even if it's not that kind of album, there still is like a story behind it, I guess. Getting inside the songwriter's head in that period of time. So.
Oh, and a couple of my favorite songs off that album, the Nirvana one, aren't even their songs.
Yeah, like the Meat Puppet ones and the Bowie ones.
Yeah, and the Bowie ones.
Yeah, and the Lead Belly one, and it's still fantastic though.
Yeah, it's cool to hear like something you're used to in like one tone, and then hear it
Exactly.
acoustic. It's like it changes the whole dynamic of the song.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
I'm a huge like bootlegs person too. Like I love going on YouTube and like finding like bootlegs from like old
Yeah.
live performances, like this, that, and the other, just to hear new perspectives
the
on the song.
live at the such and such, unplugged at this such and such.
Yeah,
place
yeah,
and
it's or
such.
just
Those
like
are
some
cool. I
terrible,
love
like,
it.
yeah, it's like some terrible tape recorder like rip, but it's still like I don't know, it's like it's cool to hear the songs performed differently and like hear like oh shit like tonight like his vocals were absolutely incredible in 1993 like like that night.
That night,
Yeah, it just like adds like a new appreciation for the music,
And
That's
then
cool
you
'cause
could
you
do
guys
a,
do that.
You could do a cover of the cover.
Yeah.
That one band. Yeah, do a cover of a cover.
But huge props to you guys for doing that too, because you're also keeping media out there.
Yeah.
Like, you're giving like variations of songs, like going back and retouching and doing like an acoustic thing of stuff. Like that's really cool, and the people who follow you like, hey, this is new media. Now you're the one delivering that kind of idea to them.
Yeah.
So keeps things fresh.
Exactly.
I don't think we ever had a period of time where we were not active, in terms like we were always trying to release stuff or like some kind of content. And stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of seems to be an important factor in this.
Yeah, it's a name of the game that's also just fun.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
I
It's
think,
fun.
I think like that's something I would love to see like more bands actually engage in is like you're putting something out there. You're staying like up to date. Like you're not just they haven't thrown anything up here in like 7 months. It's like what. Are you still around? You guys still exist?
Yeah.
But having like elements where you kind of reach out to your community and followers and such, that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean that's key to being a I guess influencer. I don't know, but like whatever. It's like running a business. Because it's a business in the end. Like running a business, you have to be up to it. Up to date and do your stuff.
Yeah. So of all the albums that you had on there, which is your favorite of them? I mean, the new one maybe, I don't know, but
The new one.
The new
the new one's your favorite one.
The new one, yeah.
Prior to the new one, since nobody can listen to the new one, which which one would you suggest people listen to on to get the full Stone Eye? What's available now?
South of the Sun.
South of the Sun, the one I got this
Yeah,
shirt.
the shirt.
The
I mean,
shirt.
we're very much, like I said, it's like a musical evolution kind of thing. So it's I feel like everyone here feels as though every album is getting better and better.
Yes.
In terms of songwriting process, in terms of playing, etc.
So I'm not shifting gears. I'm still talking about recording, but last week we had Ford the River on, and they said that the era of the album is dead. That it's the era of the single. And what he meant by that was it's better to release single songs now by themselves on Spotify versus on an album. This was I think Matt from the Ford the Rivers take. What do you guys think about that? Having released at least 7 different albums at this point, maybe 8 coming up. What do you think about that? What's your take on that thought?
I mean, he's objectively right. I mean, it is a singles market. I mean, but we just enjoy doing albums because it's fun. I mean, honestly, I mean, it is a singles market. I mean, and to be fair, for this upcoming release, we have 4 singles coming out, you know what I mean, and the album too, so it's we're kind of playing into the best of both worlds.
And also, since TikTok has become so much more popular, consumption of songs has just been sort of like that, you just see a song and you hear it, a little snippet, like for example, do you guys know who Steve Lacy is?
Heard the name, but I don't know.
So he released this song called Bad Habit, and it absolutely blew up on TikTok. He's like an R&B sort of pop artist, and there were videos at his concert of a bunch tens of thousands of people singing the chorus of the song and then not knowing any of the other words to the song and not knowing any of his other songs.
Yeah.
Wow.
All you needed was that 30-second window of that song.
Yeah.
The
So I mean, obviously TikTok is probably the biggest app in the world right now, and as I was saying, with that consumption of media, people don't really go on TikTok to listen to whole albums. I mean, people do album reviews on TikTok. I mean, but the average person probably would rather enjoy some funny TikTok dance rather than an in-depth sort of album review or.
Yeah,
or
and I
something
mean,
like that.
musicians like myself, or people that really like music, I prefer albums. I like to listen to the song in order from
Yes,
the
Dave,
beginning to
follow
the
them.
end of it. Maybe that's just as I grew up in an era of physical media.
Hey,
I
Chad.
remember cassette tapes. My first album was a cassette tape, and you really didn't have a choice but to listen to the whole thing all the way through. You couldn't skip very easily. Some cassette players had that button where you could skip, and it would wait for the silence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was the only way you could do it, and you still had to wait until it got there. So, I mean, I was always used to growing up listening to an album, and I still prefer that. I mean, I like vinyls because you don't really have a choice but to listen to it all the way through.
Yeah, so kind of going off what you were saying, I actually have a little project that I've been doing on and off for the past couple years. It's an album review page that I do on Instagram. So I started it when the Rolling Stone released their top 500 albums of all time. I decided, I was like, you know what, a fun project, I'm just going to listen to every album on that list and review it on that. So I've just started kind of getting back into it over the past week or two. So I've been, reviewing them, counting down from 500 all the way down to 1, and then I also do album reviews of new albums and just albums that I like myself, and I've actually got this guy who hit me up from the UK and asked me to review his album, so I reviewed that using hashtags and stuff, some
So
guys.
is that on YouTube, or where do you find that?
It's on Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah.
It's like Jerry's album reviews.
Jerry's album reviews.
Yeah.
Jerry's
album reviews.
album reviews.
Cool.
Yep.
I'm looking this up now because I want to
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
This sounds cool.
If anybody in the chat wants to throw that up there so that we can see it on the screen
Yeah.
for a half minute,
Follow me
that'd
on
be
Instagram.
awesome. Follow that, because that sounds like an awesome project.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something a little fun to do, pour myself a gin and tonic, put on a basketball game, put the headphones on, listen to some, obscure, record, I don't know.
I dig this. This is a great.
Yeah, that actually
But
sounds
like,
awesome.
but like that's like our thing. Like you know, like there's certainly like the market certainly is for singles, but like I can objectively say that we all probably have a more older mindset where we actually enjoy albums, like you know, listening to full albums. I think Jared for sure, you know, and then Christian and I, you know, probably not to that extent, but you know, but we still like like we all enjoy the concept of albums, which is why we do it, you know.
And if there's like an album can like artistically connect multiple groups of songs, so I mean like you view them as like one collective, but like it releasing it as a single may work like financially or it might be successful in a different sense, but it's like they're different works of art, you know, and like if you're thinking of it that way, it makes sense to release something as like a full project.
Right.
If there's continuity to it.
Yeah, I mean, it would be like Tool is a band, for instance. They were very adamant about not putting any of their stuff on streaming until Fear Inoculum came out. For that reason, like they felt like you had to listen to the. Like, they didn't even really like CDs being skippable, and when Undertow came out on CD, if you remember, there was like 67 tracks before it got to the last one. But they were a band that, like, presents something as an album. Like, you listen to it from beginning to the end. You shouldn't skip it. They don't really want to, which is why they never had anything on streaming for, like, years and years and years.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's that extreme, and there's like the TikTok extreme. I think the answer is probably somewhere in the middle, at least from a business perspective. You know, if you want to do the whole album thing, you should at least play into the fact that people do like singles. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I think in Tool's case, I think that's just a stupid business decision. You know what I mean?
Well, look at them now.
But they also can't afford to do that too, though, because they came up in the era where people all listened to the album. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's
they grew up in a different era. Like, about the time they put out 10,000 Days was about the time that era stopped.
Yeah, you know,
not long
with
after
Advent.
that, it all became like a commodity.
Yeah, and also like obviously the advent of streaming has just made it easier
Changed
to
everything.
just pick and choose, make a playlist of your favorite songs instead of listening to the whole album.
Yeah,
and
I think
make it easier than ever.
Yeah, I mean, I think for any band that's not Tool and you want to release albums, you should play it both hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I mean, like even like for our release, like on digital it's gonna be 12 tracks. We broke off the extra track from In Lieu of Roses, and just for the sake of streaming services. But if you buy the CD or whatever, it's just gonna be 11 tracks. There's gonna be like a hidden track with like silence and all that, But we didn't want to have that on the digital release, because
well, it's hard to do that now.
Well, you can easily do it. It's just like people if they're making a playlist and there's like 10 minutes of silence after a song, like they won't put it in their playlist.
They're like, oh my god, that's a 15-minute song I'm out.
Yeah, exactly. In reality, it's like a bunch of silence. Well, the song is like 10 minutes, but but regardless, though, like if they're setting up a playlist to play in the background, they're not going to put a song. It's like Nevermind, like like after Something in the Way, Endless Nameless comes on like 20 minutes after, but no one's going to want to put that whole version in their playlist if they just want it to run. So it's going to be silent for like 20 minutes.
Yep, exactly.
So.
Exactly. Well, moving to a different thing. So you guys kind of mentioned you were going to go on a tour for Ventura, for the album Ventura.
Yeah.
Have you guys gone outside the area recently, or are you pretty...
Our last tour was in May. Well, we did like a series of weekenders in the summer, and then our last tour was in May. And we play like, in like a 2 to 3 hour radius,
Okay. So you don't go too far out of the area?
If it makes economic sense.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're doing like a whole big tour, I think the furthest we've gone was Nebraska.
Yeah,
that was in 2019, I think. Yeah, summer.
To Omaha?
I think we were in Lincoln.
Okay,
yeah.
Lincoln and Omaha are basically the only
cities in Nebraska.
In Nebraska where there's any people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we basically played like almost every state on like the east side of the Mississippi except for like Maine and like Alabama.
Yeah.
And Mississippi.
You're probably not missing much not going to Alabama.
No, we didn't.
There's not a lot happening down there. Not a lot.
So you went. You haven't been to Maine, but you've been all up the East Coast.
Yeah, we played obviously PA, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, like the whole East Coast basically. Yeah. Like, and then a lot in the Midwest: Ohio, Indiana, Nebraska, Michigan, Illinois, Kentucky, Minnesota,
Iowa.
Yeah, Iowa.
Where's your favorite city to play? Besides Philly.
I mean, in terms of like as a city,
right, Frederick.
Asheville's nice. Like usually if we play in like really big cities, then like the markets is kind of saturated, so we prefer to play like sort of mid-sized cities. Frederick, we've had some good shows there. Asheville, for sure. We had this one gig in Mankato, Minnesota, which
That
was
awesome.
which was absolutely insane. People were crowd surfing and like there was like a huge crowd there, and like people were going crazy at that gig. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Raleigh, we've had some good shows in Raleigh.
Yeah. Raleigh's a good town. I've been
Raleigh.
Yeah, Raleigh's cool. What's the name of that venue again? That was like it's Slim's.
Slim.
Yeah, Slim's. Slim's downtown. That's cool.
They closed that.
They reopened it. I think.
okay.
Oh, that's good. Because the last time I was in Raleigh, everything was closed, except the hotel and the convention center, which is why I was there.
There you go.
Everything else, everything closed at like 3 o'clock, and you couldn't go in and
It's
eat
like
anywhere.
Daylax, Virginia.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was still during COVID though. Like I don't think COVID was really
That's probably
over
why.
in Raleigh yet, and that's
Yeah.
why I think maybe a month or two after that, they opened everything back up for the evenings. But I remember trying to go into a chicken wing spot, and they were like, "We're closed. You have to order it." I was like, "But I don't live here. Where are you going to deliver it to?" He said, "Oh, you can pick it up." And I was like, "Well, do I have to stand outside?" And he was like, "Oh, yeah, you have to stand outside." And I'm like, "Oh,
I'll just tell you.
So he let me order it from him, but then I had to stand outside and wait for it. So
I would have loved if he just told you to like, can you take like a couple steps away and then call us?
Yeah. All right, there we go.
Yeah.
We're good now.
I'm talking.
I thought he was
going
gonna make me do that, but
Well, it's like going to like fast food places, like you go into the drive-thrus without a car. Remember when we did that in Baltimore? Yeah, we were gonna go get a burger, and like we go and we parked their car because we were playing a show, and we walk over, and the restaurant's closed, so we go to the drive-thru, and they just wouldn't serve us. They just pretended they weren't there. Then I saw a car pull up a second later. Hey, hello, can I take your order? I'm like, okay. I'm just like, why?
Why am I not a car?
Yeah, it's like, dude, I'm standing. I'm in the drive-thru line.
Should have had one of you make a motor noise with your mouth the whole time you're standing.
Maybe get on like my hands and knees. You can rub me
Get a
like
cardboard cutout.
I think I wouldn't like a window in the door. It's just cardboard. One of you's holding it from just below.
I just feel like that wouldn't work.
So the new album you said drops on April 28th.
Yes.
I want to give everyone the elevator pitch of why this is your favorite album. You've already said this is your favorite one, but tell us why everybody should listen to that.
Oh man. I feel like you're more articulate.
Well, I think that this is definitely sort of been coming for a long time. You know, we've been building, like maturing musically, and the songs that we've written, it's more collaborative than ever before.
That's a big part.
Yeah, we would go into the studio like and just and the practice room and just jam on stuff and bounce ideas back and forth, and then that kind of came out of the record. And I think that the songwriting is probably the best that it's been so far, and also the intricacies of like the music itself, I think, are also sort of have surpassed like anything that we've done before. So I mean,
and production too.
Yeah, the production as well. I think has been very good like throughout the whole record, and so.
Yeah, I mean it's just one of those things where it's like it's a constant like evolution. So it's like we're at our current stop, and I thought we put a lot of work to get to this current stop, and we're very excited to share it, and see what happens.
I mean it's killer, dude. It's killer.
Oh, thanks.
I couldn't believe you linked me to the whole album when you said that. I was like, I should just do a review on that album. Like, you just tell me when I can release my review.
Continuancy. You gotta listen to the whole album.
We got a lot of that stuff going on right now.
So, I mean, if you want, I'll do a review of that album when it gets closer.
Absolutely, go for it.
I'd love to review it because
if anyone wants to review it, reach out to us.
It's just, it's a musician. I'll say it's a prog fan's dream, dude. Like, I like prog music. I like it a lot, and I really, really enjoyed your album, dude. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
And it wasn't just like, oh, I'm only gonna listen to the songs you told me you were gonna play. It was like, oh my God, they're all here. It's like, listen to them all. And I did. I listened to every single one of them.
Make sure it was in order, though. Make sure it was.
It was in order. I listened to it in order. I
started.
started with the first song on there all the way down.
I will tell you, like, in regards to the order, like, there's not like a very like deep meaning behind the order. Like, that was kind of something we just strung together.
Well, except for the last song.
Yeah, the last song. Yeah. The last song, kind of, I mean, but up until like the day we're getting it mastered, we're like, I don't know if that song's gonna open open up the album. You know what I mean? It was just like the only song that's really like in a spot for a reason is the last song. Yeah, the rest of it we just had a listening party and I numbered them randomly and they were like, oh, that kind of works. And we just need to find an opening song. We're good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which one sounds good to open? Which one needs to be at the end?
Yeah.
Fill out the middle.
Well, you've heard the album. I'm not sure if you remember, but the opening song has this like weird like sound collage.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I was gonna say.
Yeah, that's why we put it in the opening.
I was like, this is a great dude. As soon as I played that opening song, I was like, oh god, this is gonna be awesome because that was like the perfect opener. That song.
Yeah, and it kind of has that that like a Millionaire Queens of the Stone Age thing to it.
Wait, the only riff that I wrote for the entire project is the first riff on the album.
Is it? That was your riff.
Yes, it is. Yeah, that's the opening. That's
Well,
the
yeah,
opening
but
riff.
also Jerry's song too. Remember?
Yeah, there's two of them.
I didn't write that riff.
Well, you wrote like the DNA.
Why is it called Jerry's Song 2?
Because I had this like finger pick 5/4 thing, and then you guys just completely changed it.
You're like, yo, this would be kind of cool. Ding dong ding. How about a and he's like, okay, that's
And I'm like, yes, I could have not.
Well, any album with a 5/4 time signature in it is a great album to me.
well, there's a few 5/4s in there.
Yeah, you can tell, dude. It's killer.
But the funny is, I can't even count like my own song's time signature.
Well, that's what you got Jeremiah for.
Exactly.
Well, I want to say something interesting about one of the songs that we played for TGR, like the.
Oh yeah, well we're gonna talk about TGR in just a minute. I was actually
okay.
gonna shift and talk about your first single. So Denora, yeah, I have specific songs to talk about. Denora, god damn. Not only can I
It's
not
right
pronounce
up
things,
there
but-
in the chat.
Yeah, Denora.
Yeah,
Denora.
thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, Dave
got it.
hooking you guys up with lots of chat.
Oh, Dave's a man.
I need to pay more attention to that. But I do want to talk about specific songs because what I do is we talk about the specific song and then I go back and I cut the interview where we talk about the specific song, put it in front of your performance of the song,
It's like
and then
120.
we play it back on the stream later, and then of course I'll give you guys all those so you can do whatever you want with them afterwards. But anyway, let's talk about Denora since that was the first song of your album. That was a great song. Where did I put I had points that I was going to bring up and they disappeared.
Maybe they were on one of those go-karts.
Yeah, they're probably I did
It
some
is
of
a
this at
new
night.
single.
Anyway, it's your new single,
Yeah.
and you played that here. Tell us about that song. I don't know what happened to my points.
About that song. Well, it started off as like the dun 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 riff, and then the chorus. And I thought it was gonna be like a quick song, you know, kind of like Queens of the Stone Age style like thing, where just like kind of boom 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 done. And then through collaboration, through songwriting process, like we arrived at this 5-minute song with like that bridge breakdown that goes into that tribal like dun 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 dun.
4 different rhythms going on in the bridge at the same time.
So
I
I
noticed that.
I kind of wanted to explain like so I kind of like had the idea for the breakdown part. So what I'm doing on the drums is I'm playing an Afro-Cuban 6/8 beat with a 2/3 clave pattern underneath. So dun 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 dun. So and then I thought it would be interesting because my left hand is on the 3 so. But you could also do 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh yeah, dude, polyrhythms. So
But then,
great.
like, yeah, so you can hear it in the song, you know. So, yeah, just kind of sort of like metric modulation type stuff going on, keeping that, sort of quarter note rhythm going on, but kind of messing around with the rhythm on top of it.
My impression of that middle section is that Steve wrote this part that's like very slinky and it's in 6, right? So Jerry wrote this drum part over it that is doing like these multiple rhythms, and then the other instruments do like specific hands or feet that Jerry's doing. So like one person will be doing a rhythm that Jerry's doing right, or etc. And so then like it's this like kind of ambiguous riff, and then surrounded by all of these different rhythms and stuff. and then they're singing on top of it.
Yeah, and then they're singing on top of it, which is a pain in the ass. Fucking.
Well, you guys nailed it when you played it here. So.
Yeah, well, it was just to get there. To get to that point was a lot of practice.
Lots of practice.
Yeah, yeah.
And what's really impressive to me is that you're able to pull off these polyrhythms and make them sound so interesting, Jeremiah, with a 4-piece.
That's what he's always played. You know?
Like Danny Carey from Tool has like this immense freaking kit.
Yeah.
Is it everything in it, and you're over here doing killer polyrhythms with basically three drums and a snare. Three deep drums and a snare.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like the compact nature of the kit, and like it's also like, as I was talking about orchestration earlier, it's easier to sort of orchestrate around the kit when everything is compact like that, and also just like it's easier to travel with that too, and like we have limited like space and stuff.
Yeah. Well, and it's also, I mean, I do think we're at this proggy point, but like we come from like stoner rock, grunge backgrounds, you know what I mean? So like, Dave Grohl and players like that, it was always just like
it's like if prog was a thing in the '90s. This is kind of what I hear with especially the new album. Shifting to Who's There, that was that the
opening
first?
track?
That's the opening track on South of the Sun. That was the first one I listened. Like when you and I were talking about coming on here.
Yeah.
I listened to Fool's Gold right after it, but
that's
there,
an old one.
Who's yeah? Well, I was trying to.
That was off our first album. That first album was pretty much a demo,
But I mean, Oblivion was a good album though. I really enjoyed some songs on that album.
Oh, thanks.
Well, you played Poison Apple.
So Poison Apple and Paradigm. That's off of Poison Apple.
Oh, that's
the album right after.
The one right after that. So
that's like almost what I consider to be the first album, because like the album before that, Virtues of Oblivion, it was like that's kind of just like a demo, in my opinion. Like the production too shows that like the songs were kind of just like, not really much thought was gone.
I mean, we were like, I was like 15, he was like 17. It was very, very primitive stuff going on.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and we were only a 2-piece there. Like so that whole album's just guitar.
Oblivion
and drums.
was just you two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all guitar and drums. So
Oh
there's
man,
no
I
bass
didn't
or
even
anything.
I didn't even notice that when I was listening to
the deep cut Stone High.
Yeah, that's our first album technically.
There are some good songs on there, but they just don't sound like. The production is just awful.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, we for the most part we record and mix a lot of what we do like on our own, and like that was like I was just learning how to record, like so like naturally it just sounds like shit,
I would say that probably happens to a lot of it. Happened to me. The first couple songs I recorded, I could not figure out how to mix worth a damn. And
you don't even know like how to use a compressor. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah,
dude. What's that?
When I figured out how to use a compressor, though, was when everything started sounding way better.
Way
better.
EQ too. Like when you learn how to use EQ, it opens your world. But before that, I'm just like throwing random presets on and just hoping it sounds good. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah, I did the same thing with the first couple songs I recorded. I didn't even release those because they sounded so terrible.
Yeah.
But Who's There though? You do a lot of wah solos generally, and there's a really killer wah solo. I mean. That was when I listened to it and I was talking to you, I was like, man, that wah solo, that's what's like, oh my god, that's really good. But you talk a little bit to me about like the different pedals, not just on Who's There, but like, obviously I'm watching you play and like, you made the comment it's like playing pedal roulette with some of your songs.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the setup I'm currently using, I mean, it's kind of simple. I just use this like EQ distortion pedal mixed with this like standard distortion pedal to get like my tone. I leave the standard distortion on. I use the EQ one to boost up certain frequencies to give it like a very like tone to it. I also like my tones being warm, so I don't overdo it with like the treble and all that. I like warm guitar tones.
Okay.
And then wah, I use a splitter here to run both the amps. Wah, I have a delay pedal, I have a Pog, and then that's pretty much it. It's not that crazy.
Well, I mean, it looks crazy to me, but I also play with the Line 6 modeler in a.
Well, that's where I started out. That was where my first guitar experience was a Line 6. But in regards to the pedal board, though, I mean, it's not crazy. It's just like a lot of those tones and stuff, especially on the new album, a lot of it's just playing through the box with the single distortion pedal. And then when it gets like any of the crazier stuff, I mean, like he's got like this pedal called the Blue Hippo, which is like this like tremolo, like delay reverse kind of thing. Yeah, so we just use that and give textures and use the wah, and that's pretty much it. Like it's nothing like too crazy really. I mean, I'm not a big fan of like having a million pedals. Like I mean, I'm kind of playing that out of necessity of filling up the space. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, because you got 2 amps over here that you were running, so I had to mic both of them and then run them apart from each other.
Yeah. So like for example, like the stereo pedal, like I just leave that on the whole time. Like that's the stereo delay pedal. You know, that's to give a stereo image. So like this guitar is slightly more delayed than like that guitar, so like it creates this illusion.
Yeah, it sounded like you had 2 guitars.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, it was just you playing. So you go to the solo, and I could still hear like it sounded really, really tight with the 3-piece and having that image of having 4 people there was really, really good.
Yeah, and that's what we're going for. But in regards to the pedals, I mean, you know, during the distorted part, I usually have like those 2 pedals on all the time. You know what I mean? Those 2 distortion pedals are always on. If I'm going to a cleaner part, I just take one of the pedals off and I play a bit like quieter, but you know, with like actual picking. But like there's still an element of crunch there, you know, going on. But you know, if you control your dynamics, you can minimize that. And then, you know, solos, throw on the wah every once in a while, you know, throw on the pog every once in a while when you want that extra, you know, octave, and pretty much it, yeah.
Alright, I gotta be annoying. I have an appointment I gotta go run to. So
Yeah, no
I was gonna
problem,
try and
dude.
hang
Yeah.
as hard and as long as I could.
Yeah,
So,
well, it's always
I'm gonna run out of
optional.
here.
No one
Thanks,
gets
bro.
paid to be here.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. I'll catch you guys all
See you,
in
man.
really soon.
Yep, see you, Jesse.
I know.
Do you have to go too?
No, I went to shake his hand, but he didn't.
Oh, man.
Ow! See you, man.
So we'll catch you guys again real soon.
See you, Jesse. Around. And then one more pedal I do have there. I do have like a multi-function pedal on. I totally forgot about that. But I mainly use that for tuning, and then I also use it for the occasional boost, and I use it like for some reverb, extra reverb at times.
Yeah, it just the guitar tones are phenomenal. Hopefully Jesse can get out. Was he behind you, Reese?
Yeah, he's
good.
the first one in the row.
Well, I think my wife came. Well, anyway. So
yeah,
we'll
figure
see.
it out.
We'll if he needs anybody to move, I'll be moving here in a minute. But, yeah, check out the window there. No, he's good. Okay, good.
Perfect.
All right. So now TGR. You wanted to talk about specific things in TGR. So, I mean, the drums are really killer in this song. They're syncopated. I don't even know what the time signature was because.
6.
So it's So it's 3 bars of 3/4 and then 1 bar of 7/8, but I'm playing a 5/8 hi-hat pattern,
and it just resolves naturally.
Well, so and then underneath that I'm playing dun 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 dun. So it's like a whole like polyrhythm thing going on where you have the 5/8 hi-hat pattern over the 3/4 snare pattern, and then it resolves after that final bar of 7/8.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it was just
Sure, it's that simple.
It's that simple. I followed. Sure. I'm not a drummer, but I mean, I followed what you're saying, dude.
I
You
can
can
see
see
that
it.
now.
I mean, I'm gonna listen to it with that in mind next time. I'll probably rewind that a couple times, like what we just talked about, so that I can figure it out. Cause like that was driving me nuts. I'm listening. I'm like, I can't figure out this time signature. I'm listening to it. I was like, this is syncopated drums. There's definitely polyrhythms. I couldn't figure out.
Yeah,
what
the
was
best
going on.
part is like he can explain it so intricately and like do this, that, and the other, and then meanwhile like I was the one that wrote the riff and I don't have a fucking clue.
Actually,
I wrote
That
the
would be me. I'd be with
and then
Well,
he's going like
when I wrote that drum part, it was so difficult that because I had
Yeah, we had
the
to
idea in my
repeat it
mind.
over and over.
I had the idea in my mind for this polyrhythm, but it was so hard that I actually had to transcribe it out and like read the transcription
I remember
while
that.
I was playing it because
Yeah.
it was like so difficult to like match everything up, and I had to bring the transcription to like the first couple times we played it live. I had to like have the transcription there with me so I could like read off of it because it was just so ridiculously difficult at first. But you know,
well then writing that little like boo doo 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 doo.
Oh,
That was another.
That was,
Oh, yeah,
that
that's
was
another-
originally. I think that was originally
My idea.
your idea.
Yeah.
Just cutting off 16th notes.
Yeah, but I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain it. So I'm
That,
just like,
that
I'm
was
not
right
playing
before
that,
right after the solo, before you go into the last chorus, right? That part.
yeah, well, it's the one that goes
Uh,
ba da 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 da.
it's like the sort of like breakdown.
Yeah.
Sort
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
instrumental
Yeah, it's right
part.
before it gets really quiet and then gets loud for the last chorus.
Yeah, that's the spot. Like like watching you guys do the dynamics in that song too was really cool. That so it's like there's definitely jazz influence because of the dynamics. Like most people don't use dynamics at all
Yeah.
unless they're a jazz drummer or have been trained jazz that way. So that was cool to watch as well. But I wanted to ask playing bass on that song. What's with all these polyrhythms going on? What are you doing in the bass parts to keep up with that?
About that.
Hoping for the best.
Yeah. It's a wing and a prayer.
Yeah. I mean, I've played for these songs on the album, like guitar and like done other stuff like this, but I'm used to those parts. The bass parts are like, I don't know. It's mostly following Jerry's accents, especially in like that breakdown part. But also today, since on the album I played guitar, I did this lead part that's like the you know, and I tried today combining the lead guitar part with the bass, and so then you kind of get into bass performance, just that kind of sweepy type thing. You know?
Yeah.
So it's just a hodgepodge of different stuff, you know, like different techniques, and just like trying to complement Jerry's part.
Yeah, because I mean the rhythm section is bass and drums. We didn't really talked about the bass in at all, but I was just curious how you kept up with those. So,
but we've been playing together forever, you know, and like so it's like before I was in the band, like we all knew each other, and like I think the first time the band did like a tour as a 3-piece, like outside of having 2 members, I was playing bass.
Yeah, so he's
and
been
that was like 2007.
2017.
And then I've played guitar, I've played bass, and like you know, it's like with you know live versions of the band, and so I'm just used to this, and also like the stuff that I write personally is like classical music that's like very out, and so me and Jerry are very
out there.
Me and Jerry are very like nerdy about music theory and stuff. So I follow his stuff, you know. So
yeah, that's awesome. Like actually, I wish there was more people in bands that were like. I almost got a minor in music. Everything I did as an elective, I couldn't with too many credits to get the minor. I had my engineering degree was way high on credits.
If it gives you any hope, I like flunked out of 2 music theory classes. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wish I had more people into music theory when I formed bands. It never seems to happen that there's 2 of us. I had a bassist a couple years ago, right before COVID, that had a degree in bass. He plays for Heroes for Ransom now. And it was really nice working with somebody that understood theory and could, you know, talk about the things. But then we were just playing a bunch of cover music, so it kind of got all thrown away. You know,
it is interesting to like working with 2 people that are very into theory, you know, because like you know, it adds another element, you know, and it's just like you know, it's like how do you do this or that, you know what I mean? We both kind of think about music in a different way, so we both can like feed off of each other's views on music, you know what I mean?
It goes both ways because like with Steve, he's writing these really interesting, like I can attest to this because I've like transcribed a lot of the music where it's like these really strange harmonies and these really
it's like on paper it shouldn't work, but then I'm just like, if you use your ear though, it sounds good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So there's just a lot of like interpreting music, Steve's stuff like through music theory, and then like also he's like sponging off of like our weird influences, and so it's been like a interesting collaboration.
Yeah, it's very interesting to like you know have someone that views music more like a caveman, like, you know, working with like scholars.
Yeah, but I mean the harmonies work really well, and that I wish I would have had my notes for Denora because I had Donora.
Denora. Yeah.
I wish I had my notes for Denora. I must have erased them, but I was wanting to talk about your harmonies in that song. But
it's pretty. Well, for most of the songs, it's like fourths, right?
Yeah, it's fourths, but then
so that whole like bridge, like the da da ones and meanings, that was pretty much all Christian who wrote that harmony.
Oh, okay.
So so Steve is singing the melody. So Steve's initial idea, like the rhythm and like the core single track melody.
Yeah, like the core vocal that's at the front, that's all like my rating, and then also like I think like the 4th harmonies are probably like my ratings too.
And then I did like I tracked like a draft at home where on the album I'm singing every other harmony, like including like the growls and stuff like that. So it's like
so it's kind of that whole like middle section, like I mean it like like a lot of that like in terms of the textural like you know harmonies and the growling and you know the you know like a lot of that is like Christian, like you know because I couldn't think of that shit. But that's what it goes back to. That's why it's cool though, like you know because it's like you know I can be Mr. Caveman and like make this cool melody, and then he comes in and he's just like, how about if I do a minor 6 with a 5th undertone, but yada yada, and then I'm just like, all right, do it, and then he does it, and then it's like, okay, that sounds cool, let's do it. You know what I mean?
The idea of the bridge in Denora is preposterous.
It works so well though.
I know, but there's so much stuff happening at the same time.
Yeah, there's like 16 tracks of vocal because we double tracked a lot of the vocals too.
Over
so.
4 different parts of like polyrhythms, and so it's like bananas. It's
But
bananas.
but that's the best part of that song, honestly. Like I really love that part, and then like the lyric that you say in it, the madness. What's the
Where
lyric?
I go is where I see the madness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that lyric too. And it just
thanks,
fits, like because it fits in that bridge part where you got all this stuff going on. It's like almost madness.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then you're singing about the madness.
Yeah, exactly. That's a lot of my lyrics, or all my lyrics, come after the song's like written. So like I kind of like try to like make a mood out of the song.
That's really interesting because like
I write all the melodies first. Lyrics are dead last.
Okay, so you guys get all the music together, and then you write lyrics after the fact.
Yeah, like at the very end.
Oh, that's awesome. I haven't really heard of people doing it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just,
Maybe I will start doing that.
Well, it's
I think
it makes it like easier too, because you kind of have an idea of what the melody is, so you can like syllables and stuff like that. You can do more syllable like wordplay. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Instead
yeah.
of trying to like hamstring like a phrase in there that just doesn't work rhythmically. You know.
I have changed things when I write a song. I've changed a lot of things later. Like I'll come up with a good melody and it'll have some lyrics to it, and then I'll completely change those lyrics later. But I've always thought of doing the lyrics or finding a hook or a phrase that I kind of stick with the whole time.
Yeah, well that's naturally. I mean, when you're doing like ad lib stuff, you kind of like like what's that song I hear repeating inside my ears? Like that was ad libbed. Like that was just like me humming, just going. Okay, that's a chorus right there, bam. You know what I mean? And then you kind of just build everything around it.
Well, we're coming up on 4 o'clock. I don't want to keep too long, but I wanted to talk about a couple other things. Sorry, I just got a text from and Siri starts talking.
Shut up, Siri!
See, the problem is with this watch is I gained a little weight over COVID, and now it doesn't fit right. Like, it's stuck between 2 knobs, and so it, like, shifts a lot. Anyway, that's my own problem. I probably shouldn't do something like that. But I wanted to talk about Paradigm and Cut 'Em Loose. You played those right back to back.
Mm-hmm.
I really like how a lot of your songs lead off with this like quick.
I mean,
solo.
Paradigm and Poison Apple, the ones that went straight into.
Well,
one
you
another.
played those straight into, but you played Paradigm and then Cut 'Em
Okay,
Loose.
gotcha.
But
Yeah.
but both of those have like this really nice drum, and then it comes into like this really just like those licks that you write, Steve. The ones that are just like really tasty, and you just have this really. I mean, you have it in both of those songs, and you have it in. Witches and Raptures, like those like in Witches and Raptures is like it gets stuck in my head sometimes, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is like why does it get stuck in my head like that?
Thank you, appreciate it.
So
it's good.
I don't know where I was going with that. I kind of just got overexcited.
Well, Witches and Raptures. Remember how we wrote that song, Christian?
Yeah.
Yeah, I came in with like a voice memo on my phone. I'm like,
it was called Brainchild.
Yeah, Brainchild. Well, it still says that on the lyric sheet.
Oh,
on the
yeah,
top.
yeah.
Yeah, but we called the song Brainchild before we had lyrics. Cause like I said, they come at the very end, so they all have stupid names. But called it Brainchild because I was in my car one day and I'm just like banana, and then like I did a voice memo when I brought it over to Christian. I'm like, Christian, I thought this could be kind of cool. And then I played it a couple times. I was just like, I don't know. Because I normally don't write like with voice memos. I always like playing because I think when I like write with voice memos, it ends up being very simplistic. You know what I mean? But like, and then Christian's like, oh no, let's try this. And then he kind of just like pushed us to do it. And I'm like, okay. And I went, yeah, that's how that song's born.
Yeah, it came out fantastic. I mean, that was probably one of my favorite songs on that album.
It's definitely one of.
And that's on this album, right? South.
Yeah, we play that basically every single show.
Yeah, you should. I mean, that's really good. It's
definitely a more like most like anthem-y song with like the hey, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Well,
the hey part is cool.
When I first heard you guys, it was that one, and Run to Me.
Or
Catatonia.
Okay.
Yeah, Run Through the Me.
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
Because that was the first video I saw. But those two, like, were in my head for months.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate
Like
that.
just, yeah.
Oh, he wrote the main riff for Catatonia. Yeah, that was it's all collaborations here. It's kind of cool. Like, that song, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, Catatonia was, that song was, we were recording another song off of that album, Presence of the Mind. And we were like in the studio, and
So I'm getting some water. Go ahead.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, we were in the studio, and like I just heard Christian like playing this riff, which ended up being the main riff for Catatonia. and then yeah.
And
That's how it was. I
and
was
then the
like,
light-
grab a voice memo.
About the last 20 seconds of Witches and Raptures is just like this cool choir sounding vocals.
Oh,
Yeah. That was you? That was your idea?
And
How-
I'm singing over that too. So.
Oh, okay. How did you come up? How did you record that? Because it sounds really. It sounds like you got a choir in there, man.
It was a lot of painstaking.
Leave me alone.
You basically transcribed this whole thing. I mean, I think it was one of the situations where I had the basic whoa.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, it's kind of like the bridge in Denora where like I had this basic melody and then he comes back to me and he's like, hey Steve, and I'm like what? And he's like has all this transcribed shit and I'm like all right, let's do it. And then it took forever to record. I remember.
Oh yeah, it was a pain. And then but I remember the first time we talked about it because like we were listening to the instrumental version. We didn't have vocals over it, and I forget if it was you or me where it was just like, it would be kind of cool if we just had like kind of a chanty kind of thing over it that followed the riff, and then just turned into this big massive thing. So.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I think I don't really have much else. A Palace for the Unborn King. I wanted to talk about the lyrics on that song, and just generally like how you came up with the song, like what's the meaning of it. And then, like, it was an excellent closer, by the way.
Oh,
like, the way you build up on the end of it and then come out of the song that way, it was excellent, man. But, yeah, tell us about the song meaning there and where you came up with it. Because this is why I thought when you said you were a Christian rock band, this is why I thought, like, I believed you.
Really?
Because of the name of the song. That's why I was so gullible. I was like, oh, really? I got a Christian rock band in here.
The jig's up, Steve.
I mean, I don't know. I wrote that in 2017. I mean, a lot of it, especially in the older stuff. I mean, nowadays I can tell you roughly what each song is about, or at least like a concept of it. I mean, I don't know. It's just one of those things where wordplay, trying to create a story within the atmosphere of the song, kind of thing, and it just ended up being Palace for an Unborn King. A lot of it's like wordplay. I will say one specific, like chew your meat and spit your grains. That was 100%. Yeah, terrible lyrics.
It's so bad.
But that was stolen from Drain You.
Drain You?
Nirvana.
Nirvana.
Chew meat for you.
Yeah.
Pass it
okay.
back and forth.
So not stolen, but like
heavily, yeah,
derivative.
That's like the one main lyric I remember like writing. But like no, a lot of it was just wordplay, kind of fitting like this moody atmosphere that I thought the song provoked, and yeah.
I will say just because I tracked with him a lot for the lyrics or for the vocals, and it's like his lyrics are very aesthetically driven. But I mean, as for like the rest of the band, like we have no idea what the songs are about. Like we personally. So only he knows, and usually there's not an answer.
Well, like you said, it's very aesthetically.
Yeah,
it's very a lot of imagery in there. A lot of like use of specific words to like call up images.
I'm very influenced by Elliott Smith. If you know who Elliott Smith is, 90s like kind of folk indie artist guy, and he's the master of like evoking imagery. So like I kind of use a lot of like his his guidance to be like, oh, like he paints a beautiful photo here. Like I'm gonna try to paint something with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you do that very well. I mean, that's very apparent in like a lot of the songs, including Poison Apple, which we didn't really talk about, but I mean, it's got a really good lick on it. And then watching you play that, actually, I was like, man, I was like, it's shifted right into Paradigm, and I didn't even catch that.
So they're basically the same song.
Yes.
We were talking about that
You
yesterday.
confuse the riffs to those songs often.
Yeah.
Well, then I don't feel so bad for not catching it. But,
literally yesterday at rehearsal.
Dave said you don't know what you don't see.
Oh, of course
we were
he
asking about A Palace for the Unborn King.
Know what you don't see, a mighty palace.
I mean,
okay.
I mean that is true.
Yes.
Wait, but actually, what if I?
I think actually.
What if I? But I know that there's a backyard over there, but I don't see it.
Shut up.
It's true.
You don't know what you don't see.
But you saw it before, though.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Wait. But what if I haven't seen space before?
Yeah.
And I know it's there.
Right.
Well, I think it's a philosophy. If you didn't see it with your own eyes happening, then how can you prove that something's real? Like, you know what I mean? Like, did the bear shit in the forest if, like, you know,
Jerry.
you didn't see the bear or whatever?
Jerry getting.
Or I think it's like, did the tree really fall in the forest if you never saw the tree in the forest?
The
You know
answer
what
is
I mean?
yes, it did happen.
Yeah, but it's like a philosophy.
It happened, but it did not make sound. It
No.
only made vibrations.
Like, there's no, like, you know, like, first, like, do you really know if something happened if there's no first-hand witnesses to it happening? I mean, you can obviously use logic and be like, yeah, that happened, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of that, like, philosophy, which I do think that's actually, I've never thought of my lyric that way, but that's actually pretty.
But then you also have chew your meat, spit your greens immediately after.
Circular.
Yeah, circular.
Well, it was an absolute pleasure having you guys on. We're about 5 minutes over 4 o'clock. I could talk to you guys for a long time. You're very, very easy to talk to.
Do this again.
Tell us what's next. Like, where's your next shows? Like, when are you gonna be
Jam.
playing out again?
The Gem, right?
February.
Yeah, February 25th at the Gem in Spring City.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then the
that's
next one after.
Maryland?
Formerly Chaplin's.
No, it's Spring City, Pennsylvania. It's kind of near Phoenixville.
I'm bad at my geography. I've only lived here 5 years, 6 years. I should know my geography.
King of Prussia, it's like 20 minutes north of King of
Okay,
Prussia.
so it's over there somewhere.
Yeah,
Somebody
yeah.
says King of Prussia, I just think of that.
The mall.
area.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we have a show March 4th at Kung Fu Necktie in Philly, and then March 31st at HMAC.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Cool.
There.
I'll have to find your flyers and make sure they get on our show. Or when you guys post them, just use that hashtag radio717.
Yeah.
And I'll be able to find them a lot easier. Because I can't troll Facebook all the time. I end up looking on my phone and saving stuff and coming back later and put it on my computer because I pull them directly from my computer. But anyway, the Stone Eye. Check out their new album. It's coming out 4/28. I don't know which camera I'm looking at. I think it's that one. But they're coming out. That album comes out 4/28. And they're going to be playing and promoting that. They have their new single, Denora. Denora. It came out.
I knew it was a
earlier
terrible
this week.
name. No one can say it.
That's okay. I can't say a lot of shit.
Neither can I. Trust me.
I'm bad at it.
Oh,
But-
trust me. They know.
But yeah, check out the single Denora. It's on
West Virginia.
Spotify and everywhere you stream. And we're going to call it good for today. Join us next week. We have Coal State on at 2 p.m. We're going to be doing the same kind of format. Yeah, but that's it. That's it for today, guys. Thanks again for coming.